Hi, it's Mike Stiles from Brand Content Studios. Here's the Content Marketing Quickie for the week ending August 27th. Rohan Ayar did a nice little article. Wait, that's not really an interesting enough subject line if this were an email. Stop being stupid about what Rohan wrote about and triple your ROI by 1,000%. There, that's better. He wrote about things that tend to work as email subjects, and they include extreme statements that are backed up by stats in the email, a grabby negative to challenge, if not taunt, the reader, being quirky to help you appeal to the group that will identify with you, and one used by Barack Obama that simply said, "Hey." Effective because it says, "I'm chilled out, super self-confident, and want to pull you into a quiet, private conversation you'll find value in." Integral Ad Science gives us the rundown on fraudulent traffic and the viewability of display ads. The display ads were 11% less viewable than last year. They went from 49.4% to 44%. Publisher sites' viewability rate dropped 55.5% to 50.1%, while ad networks and exchanges fell to 39.9% from 45%. As for fraudulent traffic, the ad networks and exchanges have it far worse than publishers. Fraudulent impressions were 3.7% for publishers and 14.1% for the networks and exchanges. You want better numbers in both fraud rates and viewability? Do video ads because they delivered better results than display in both respects. Somebody's going to deliver the Netflix of podcasting everyone's been talking about and waiting for. In fact, there will probably be 5 or 6 rolled out before there's a clear winner, but one of the first could be Howl. Howl is a product of Midroll, that ad network that places ads on hit podcasts like Comedy Bang Bang and Doug Loves Movies, and they produce their own shows, Comedy on Earwolf and Pop Culture on Wolf Pop. So all of their shows will go on Howl along with WTF, and then you'll get the opportunity to pay $5 a month for access to all current and back episodes, special additional content, and to get rid of the ads. But to truly be the Netflix of podcasting, it's not just about charging people and getting rid of ads. It's also about search, recommendation, and discovery. So the questions I leave you to debate with yourself and friends: will people pay for podcast access like they do for video? And will there be a big enough hunger to discover podcasts to drive such a platform? Do you want to advertise to flippers? No, I'm not talking about selling snorkels to dolphins. I'm talking about users of Flipboard, the app where you flip from story to story. Their Promoted Stories program now offers video. The bait will be 3 to 8 second auto-playing cinema loops that kind of look like animated GIFs and that make nary a sound. If the loop is seductive enough, the flipper can click and see the whole video with sound, and you, brand marketer, get to pick what the loop is. The ad can also have a description with a CTA. Flipboard said data shows brand lift generated by users actively selecting to watch a video is higher than in typical autoplay scenarios. Condé Nast has its own native content outfit called 23 Stories, and now 2 new senior-type executives have joined it. Both were already there at the company. Josh Stinchcomb is managing director and Dirk Standen is editor-in-chief. 23 Stories started in January so ad clients could tap into the astonishing talents of the editorial people. There was a time, oh so long ago, when Norman Rockwell painted you if you looked quaint, when they were serious about keeping editorial staff and brand content producers clearly and cleanly separate. But now, oh, these are far different times. 23 Stories uses content makers from the media group and from Condé Nast Entertainment. Be the 9th caller right now and you win a story about radio. TuneIn is one of the platforms that lets you listen live to just about any radio station in the world over the internet and through an app. Well, if you've always wanted the option to pay money to get rid of the ads on your favorite station, TuneIn's new subscription service might be for you. $7.99 a month gets you, well, what basically amounts to a live radio ad blocker. The ads get replaced with music chosen based on your listening history. You also get premium MLB and Premier League live play-by-play and team-specific stations. Lastly, there are audiobooks. TuneIn made deals with some big publishers, so there are 40,000 audiobooks to choose from. Here's hoping your commute is not that long. Looking at Datanyze's numbers, here's how 6 marketing tech categories grew in the month of June. Tops is tag management at 9%, then comes web personalization at 7%, analytics at 5%, marketing automation at 4%, email marketing at 3%, and e-commerce at 2%. So let's look at just marketing automation. B2B is adopting it most, but B2C and SMB interest is going up, up, up. Who are the top vendors in that area? Well, in terms of sheer volume, not growth, it's HubSpot and Marketo. But Selligent grew the most. IBM had the lowest growth, although you could bet they would argue with the numbers and methodology. How would you like to get lots of video views and not have to actually make any content to do it? That's what Facebook compilation pages are doing, and they're performing really well. Tubular says the top 10 compilation pages got 7.1 billion views in July, but the top 10 original content pages only got 2.6 billion. In fact, the top 7 compilation pages each got more views in the month than the top Facebook creator page, which was the BuzzFeed video page. That doesn't seem fair for people actually making and investing in good content, but life is not fair, and neither is digital marketing. Pages with aggregated stuff on Facebook are getting up to 3.6 times more views. But what lets you take and use other people's videos? Facebook's Matt Pakes says, "We take intellectual property rights very seriously and provide reporting tools for content owners to report possible copyright infringement." He says they're also looking at other things to help owners see if anyone's ripping them off. Salesforce, you've heard of them, right? They were wondering how Instagram advertising is doing, so they looked at what's up with 12 of their clients, and voila, it's doing better than Facebook advertising. Overall click-through rates on Instagram ads over the last month was 1.5%, while Facebook had a Q1 figure of 0.84%. Instagram's cost per thousand impressions was around 90% higher than Facebook's. Cost per click was 42 cents for Instagram, 40 cents for Facebook. Salesforce Marketing Cloud CEO Scott McCorkle says engagement on Instagram ads is also high. Are you saying, I want my Apple TV? Well, keep waiting, because if Bloomberg is right, the live TV service has now been delayed to 2016. Did you hear that? Cable TV companies just said, whee! The problem is something cable companies are very familiar with, negotiating with big-time content providers. For instance, NBC is owned by Comcast, who would be a direct competitor with Apple TV. Oh, what a tangled web. And here's a question. Why would content rights holders give Apple a better licensing deal than they give cable companies so that Apple can offer the subscription service for about half the price of cable? Apple will probably go ahead and release their new streaming device in September, just without the content deals. Yahoo! They have some new tools for mobile developers. SVP Simon Kaloff announced Tumblr in-app sharing. Now, when you want to share something in an app straight into Tumblr, you can do that. And when you do that, you can see if the stuff that got shared got reblogged, clicked, or liked. On the Tumblr side, posts will deep link to the app or to a download the app link. Yahoo says all this makes good sense because average daily usage on mobile has gone from 162 to 220 minutes in 2015, and over 90% of time is spent in apps. The other tools are real-time analytics via Flurry, and mobile developers can integrate native video ads into their apps. You've probably heard of Spreadfast, and you've probably heard of Shoutlet, and now you've heard Spreadfast is buying Shoutlet. Apparently, there's only so much room for so many social media management platforms. While they used to be alike, they kind of went two different directions focus-wise, which is why CEOs Rod Favoron and Aaron Everson saw the upside of a combo that will have over 1,400 customers. Shoutlet is about social customer identity and connecting social to CRM. Spreadfast is about content, planning, and intelligence. The dynamic duo will be competing with Sprinklr, Hootsuite, and what Favoron refers to as the Cloud Guys. That's it. The transcript is at brandcontentstudios.com.